You first, Javern, the J Dog. What did you make of Chelsea today, brother? Oh, you're on mute, bruv. You're my engineer and you're on mute. Come on.
Yo, hopefully you can hear me. What's good, everyone? So I've been taking a bit of shots at Don and Ches about this whole looking good on the ball. We didn't deserve to lose thing. And like after today, I can see why they're so excited with the way how Chelsea play. But for me personally, I think it's going to be a long season. I see the signs are there, but there were just mistakes. And I hope some of them get addressed because like you said earlier, a lot of people were calling for Poch when he played players out of position, played players here and there. So I expect the same energy, but we'll see. But I expected that. I didn't think that Chelsea were going to win that at all. There's a lot of possession, but no end product. Jackson looked awful. Personally, I think that maybe Nkuku should have played up front instead. Palmer behind him. Like Palmer was best for us centrally, not on the wing. But teething issues, I guess. Dewsbury Hall apparently is meant to unlock the system. He didn't even start. Enzo is Enzo, but that's just me. That's what I wanted to say really on this. I'm just interested to see what a lot of the other Chelsea fans, because as you all know, I'm very pessimistic. I'm not really.
I get you are.
This positive. They won't do nothing because at the end of the day, a goal is what wins games.
I hear you, bro. Look, CB's with us, and look, Enzo started in the 10 today. Poch was ridiculed for that the whole of last season. Did you feel that was a big mistake that hurt Chelsea today, CB? Yeah, I think he's frozen. We'll come back to CB. I'll throw that to David. Enzo in the 10 today. He's getting a lot of criticism. What did you make of it, mate?
I don't know why people are saying I hope you give the same energy, because the reason people got annoyed at Poch is that it was a repeated thing. So like you can't really give the same energy on the first day of the season.
Hello. You can.
None of us. Okay. No, but you can't. Personally, I wouldn't, because one, I thought he would do this anyway. I said on Thursday and on the Top 6 show, I said I anticipate against bigger sides he might start off with a 3 of Caicedo, Enzo, and Navia, just because he doesn't want to go so gung ho straight away with the current issues with the system in terms of the players not knowing it that well. But again, even when we took Enzo off, I didn't think we were particularly more threatening whether he was in the 10 or not. So I don't think Enzo Fernandez is the reason we lost this game today. I don't think anyone expected us to win this game. So I find the reaction a bit weird. I just feel like people just kind of want to get at us because they know that currently we're not in the best spot. And
Enzo played 90 minutes, David.
But I didn't think Enzo was particularly dreadful today. Okay. Could he have been better? Of course, he could have been better, but I don't think he was the reason we lost that game today.
But David, you also have to give context to Poch. Poch had a lot of injuries, so maybe that's why he played Enzo in the 10. You don't have injuries like that right now. Why are you still playing him in the 10? So the question is, I'm saying, hold on.
Can I answer the question then? If you're going to ask me a question,
I wasn't done with the question though. I wasn't done. I was trying to, yeah. So I was saying, like, if you have the context around Poch is that there was injury, so we could understand maybe why he played players out of position, because he didn't have a lot of players, and we have to give that context to any manager. We have the number of injuries, but with Enzo Maresca right now, you don't have that many injuries, and you have players that can play in the 10, like Cole Palmer, put Pedro Neto on the right, and then drop somebody else. I mean, you brought Neto who can play on the right, and Palmer could have gone into the 10 role. So the idea that we shouldn't hold the same energy for this manager, seeing that he has the tools available to him. Explain that to me. That's confusing for me.
If you listen to what I said before, I said I anticipated he would have started with this system because he wouldn't want to go so gung-ho from minute 1 against Man City. I wouldn't expect him to. If our first game was Nottingham Forest, I wouldn't expect him to start with that midfield 3 because it's Man City. He doesn't want to open us up straight away. and then we're 3-0 down in 20 minutes and the game's over. But oh wow, Enzo didn't play in the 10, so we've got to find.
If he
something
did,
if he did,
would you be okay with it?
Well, if he played, if he
You're
played
happy with Enzo in the 10.
If again, it depends how it all plays out. If Enzo plays,
happy with Enzo in the 10?
Enzo plays in the 10 and it works, I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
And again, I wasn't one of the fans that went at Poch anyway, so you can't hold that standard against me.
I'm just asking. I just
want to. I get it. I'm just saying from my perspective. Again, I'm not on Twitter or anything, so I don't see all the nonsense that people chat because that's where idiots go to have a conversation. Personally, that's what I believe. So yeah. I did not think today. I didn't think today we were dreadful. I feel like everyone's coming at this from such a negative standpoint, acting like, oh yeah, City were in first gear, but we were in 8th gear. We weren't in 8th gear. We may not have been in first gear, but we weren't. That's not Chelsea full on firing. And if Nicholas Jackson can, finish one of his chances or stay on side, and we lose 2-1, this game has a different output. And my thing that I had with Poch last year was people were having a go at him, but are not looking at what is also going on the field at the same time. If we had an Osimhen today, if we don't win the game, it would have been at least 2-1, and we would have scored a goal, and it wouldn't have been so bad.
But David, my thing, David, it's not about Enzo.
He's just a straw man because everyone's like, oh, he's 100 mil, so let's.
David is not about.
Yeah, David, I didn't even hear before. I'm just guessing. I just took a wild guess.
David, what I'm asking is like, you have a new manager and you actually have players that can play in those roles. Why isn't he playing the best players for those? Like Palmer can play a 10.
No, hear me out. I'm just. You listen.
I listened to what I heard. I heard what. I said, what you said. He doesn't want to listen, David. David, what you said was he doesn't want to.
He's playing him because he's captain. That's a simple reason. Exactly. He's captain.
And I'm asking myself, guys. Let me just jump in for a second, guys, and just to try and control the conversation again. To Chez's point, the reason why Enzo's come up as a conversation.
It's his point. Answer the question. I didn't make a point.
You made a point. You said you made a point.
I asked a question. Let me guess. Everyone's talking about Enzo.
Yeah, hang on. But it's a rhetorical question, which makes it a point, my friend. That's how the English language works. So, to your point, the reason why Enzo came up is because we had an abundance of super chats from Chelsea fans kicking off about it. It wasn't a topic that we, as rivals, brought to the table. Chelsea fans did. So,
fair point. But what was the point they made? Because I didn't see that bit.
So the point that people made, and I want to throw this to you, is that a lot of them have said he's awful player, crap player, don't want to see him in the team. There's also a percentage that are stating that Poch got a lot of stick last year for playing him in the 10. He doesn't work in the 10, so they're criticizing Moresca for putting him straight back into the 10 where Chelsea fans know he can't play. Is that a fair criticism? No one's saying he's completely at fault for the loss, but do you think it's a fair criticism to your new manager to play your captain in a position that we all know he can't play?
Yeah, if we're talking about if Moresca does it for a long period of time, there's a very fair point to make. But if he does it for one game, in the first game of the season against Man City, where you don't want to go with just two midfielders, you want to keep it compact in there, and he drops in defensive situations, then cool. If this happens in our next game against Wolves, and the game after that, and the game after that, that's a fair critique to make. I think it's as simple as that. Like, it didn't work. But I'm not going to sit here and say it can't work and the new system and he didn't change very much, Moresca. From what I saw against Poch today, it wasn't like a drastic change of tactics.
I get you on that. What did you make overall? What did you make overall today, Chez? Your first proper game with your new manager, his system, etc. What was your reflection on it?
If that's Man City in their pomp with a team that's been there for how many years, the same team, the same manager, the same system. I don't think we got outplayed at all in that game, at all. And I actually think for a team that's just been put together with this manager and the way we played, it was respectable enough. Where if I can add an Osimhen in the team or a striker, and we take one of those chances, which were very clear cut, by the way, they weren't half chances. They were very clear cut opportunities that Jackson could have scored. We walk out of that game with a 1-1, worst case scenario, 2-1. And is anybody going to sit here and tell me Chelsea drawing that game is an embarrassment? No, they're not. So for me, it's very fine margins in us losing this game and drawing and even winning it, if you want to be that pedantic, right? So for me, I'm not embarrassed about that game at all. Like I'm looking at going next game. I want to see us bounce, take more opportunities, and if he plays the same system with Enzo in the 10 and it doesn't work, then I'll be in that same bandwagon. But anybody coming on here after me going overly negative, talking about this tactics, talking about that, you're just too premature. Let it land, like let it play
Can
out.
I say something, Terry, please? Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, I want to say, here's the thing. Ches might not himself have done it, but I've listened to a lot of the Chelsea content creators, including the guy next to me and many others. Whenever this is the problem now for me, change of energy. Terry, yesterday, he was like, Hussam called Liverpool dreadful and he called United dreadful on Friday. Same energy. The problem is, Poch last season played Enzo on the 10 one time. You all came here and you shat on him for an hour straight and you blamed him for the result. And you said,
it wasn't one time. It wasn't one time. It wasn't one time. No, because you're wrong. It wasn't one time.
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Please let people finish their points.
Can I just get 2 minutes? Thank you very much. Anyway, so when Poch played Enzo on the 10, he's not a 10. He's a dictator of tempo. You should put him deeper, and he should do this, and he should do that, and blah, 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 blah. And Kuko on the left as well today. And it's just the problem I have is the following. You guys need to choose a pathway now. As Chelsea fans, are you going to sit up here and realize that this is some long-term shit where you'll be good 2 years from now? Or are you going to continue in the delusion? Because there's no longer Abramovich era, no longer Abramovich players, no longer Abramovich type of results. You're not going to get results in the short term. And the type of stuff that happened today is going to happen again and again and again. Last season, you didn't give the grace to Pochettino when Jackson was missing chances. So why should you give today Maresca the praise when Jackson's missing chances? You can hold your head all you want. The first 6 months of last season, Jackson was compared to Nunez and Højlund.
You're lying.
Jackson was a meme. All of a sudden now you want to go like, oh, Jackson missed 2 chances. And how many times last season did Jackson miss chances? Last season, in the 3 games, Chelsea played against City. You were better than them in the FA Cup. You were better than them at the Etihad. You were better than them at Stamford Bridge. And you were unlucky to not win all 3 games last season. So you need to understand that this is a process that will take a long time. And even if there is light at the end of the tunnel, the light comes 2 years from now. It doesn't come now. Because you have not signed any player that's life-changing. There's 3 good players at Chelsea. And I say that again. Palmer, Caicedo, and Gusto. Don't mention Reece James because he's in a relationship with the nurse. The others are all if, buts, maybes, if this happens, if that happens. And Enzo proved it again today. It's not that we're ganging up on Enzo as a player. We're talking about this is your 2nd full season, bro. Like you played already 6 months. You played another season. This is your full season now. And you've been made vice captain, which means because Reece James is always injured, essentially you're the captain. So you have to deliver this season. All these just giving people chances out. You didn't give the other people grace like this. So just keep the same energy.
I'm gonna let Ches respond.
You just lied completely there.
Yeah, of course.
You didn't go after Poch
until
the second half of the season.
Let me tell you,
this is one game. This is, by the way, I don't want number 8 in my club.
Angie wants it. We deal with him. What he'll do is he'll jump on the streams, talking riddles, rhyme, talk a lot of waffle, add a few lies in there, and then say a statement at the end that sounds and makes sense, and then goes with it. The manager said 1 game. Poch was doing it 4 games. He played Chilwell left wing 4 games. There's systematic errors in Poch's system, which is why a lot of people wanted him out.
So
I wasn't one of those people. I wasn't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you. I wasn't one of those people who was like, I wasn't one of those people who said Poch out from the very beginning. And
the point is, last season, the first time that Poch played Enzo in the 10, the first time you came here and shouted on Poch.
Guys, please, sorry, let me just jump in, please. Please let me let Ches. Guys, there's a lot of us on. Can we please let people finish and then I'll direct it to somebody else just so that we're not all talking over each other? Because I'm going to let Ches finish and then I want to hear what CB's got to say. Go on, Ches.
What I'm saying to Assam is his points are very, very generalized. It's been 1 game of what we just watched, which wasn't a terrible match. We got slaughtered by Man City. They took us apart at home. And Assam's sitting here going, look what Poch did. Look what Maresca did. It's very similar. It's going to take 2 years. What the hell are you talking about? It's been 1 game where the manager didn't want to change too much in the game. He's put Enzo 10, which you all disagree with, by the way. No one's going to sit and defend it. It didn't work. So if he does it the game after next and the game after next, then we'll be with you and say he needs to change it up. It's as simple as that. But I'm not looking at this game. I'm going to make mad statements and mad judgments. You're talking about 2 years from now. It's been 1 game. We waffling
I
about.
didn't make a mad statement either.
I think one thing I would say before I go CB is this. I get it's one game, and if you listen to what I said in my opening monologue, I think there were some really positive things for Chelsea today. Lavia being one of them. I thought he looked amazing as an example. The only thing I would say is this. As a Man United fan, I know that Scott McTominay can't play as DM. So if we get a new manager tomorrow and in the first game he plays him in DM, I don't care about his system. McTominay's not a fucking DM. And I think the issue one thing I would say is this, is that it isn't throwing Maresca or Enzo, you've got to be careful when you say their names now, under the bus to say don't do that again, because irrespective of other problems with your team today in terms of teething issues and everything else. But you all know as well as I do, Enzo is never going to be an effective number 10 in any capacity. And the biggest mistake he made, you guys talk about how he was meant to, help put more bodies in the middle. He wasn't. He was pushing so far up. He was being marked out the game by their centre-backs. He didn't know where to position himself. And I think it's fair criticism. What I do agree with, though, with Ches is throwing the manager under the bus after making this mistake game week 1 would be ridiculous.